Hello everyone, my name is Yadagiri A. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, MLR Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. In the earlier class, we have discussed about the fundamental concepts mentioned in the basic electrical engineering subject. And in that we already discussed about the types of sources. Here again, I am going to rewind what are the types of sources. What do you mean by source? Means the source is a element which deliver the energy to the load always continuously. These type of uh, elements are called as energy sources. So here basically electrical energy sources are two types. So independent sources and dependent sources. So dependent sources are nothing but a controlling sources. Why? Because that voltage and as well as current values will be depending on the independent sources. So here again the independent sources are two types, the current source and voltage source. So in the independent voltage source, having again the further classifications are there, that is ideal voltage source, practical voltage source. The current source again categorized into two types, that is the ideal and practical current sources. Then coming to the, so let me discuss about the, so what are the classifications or what are the scenario there in the practical and as well as ideal voltage source. So first we are going to discussing about the ideal voltage source. So the ideal voltage source is a voltage source which deliver the constant values of voltage to the load terminals irrespective of the load current variations. Come again. It is a one of voltage source which is delivering the constant values of voltage to the load irrespective of the load current direction. So here the symbolic representation mentioned in the figure A, that is a ideal voltage source. So this ideal voltage source doesn't have any value of internal resistance. That's why it will delivering the maximum value of voltage to the load terminal irrespective of the load current variation. Means the current will not change. So the voltage will be, so it means if the current value is infinite value is there, again the voltage will be delivered same value, that is a constant value. So irrespective of the load current variation, it will be sending the full amount of voltage. Then coming to the practical voltage source. So the practical voltage source having some value of internal resistance. So that's why, so it is a one off voltage source which deliver the voltage at a specified level of values because it will be depending on the load current variations. So that's why it will be sending the voltage to the load limited values. Why? Because it has a small amount of internal resistance is there. So in the figure B they are mentioned, or we are going to discuss it, the symbolic representation is there. So voltage with respect to the in series with the a small internal value is there. So here the VI characteristics of the particle voltage source is the dotted line which will be indicating the constant value of voltage with respect to the current. But here with respect to the current, so we should not send or we should not get the constant voltage. Why? Because it has some internal resistance. That is the difference between these two. So VI characteristics will be clearly indicate the, so what are the differences between the practical and as well as ideal voltage sources. So finally the ideal voltage source has a zero resistance. The practical voltage source has a small value of internal resistance. That's why it will be getting some variations. And coming to the ideal and as well as practical current sources. So first we are going to discussing about the ideal current source. An ideal current source is a current source which deliver the current to the load a constant value irrespective of the load voltage variation. Come again. Ideal current source is a one source, means one of the current source which delivering the constant values of current to the load terminals irrespective of the load voltage variations. So it is a symbolic representation is mentioned in the diagram. So here there is no or doesn't have any internal resistance in the current source. So here VI characteristics we are going to discuss here. So in the x-axis I am going to considering voltage value for that current source, and the y-axis I am going to considering current value. So for the particular these type of sources are will be sending the a constant value of current with respect to the changes of the voltage. So that's why we are getting the a straight line in the VI characteristics. Why? Because why it will be getting this constant value? Why? Because means there is no internal resistance for the current source. That's why you are getting like this graph. Coming to the practical current source. So the practical current source has a highest value of internal resistance. That's why the current source which will be send the current to the load terminal a specified value to the load. So here the load voltage variation is considerable. Means a practical current source is a current source which deliver the a specified level of current to the load with respect to the load voltage variation. Why it will be sent the specified level? Why? Because it has a highest value of internal resistance which is connected across the that particular current source. So here we are going to discuss about the here symbolic representation is mentioned here, the current source here there. So in parallel with the it has there some internal resistance is there. So coming to the IV characteristics of that particular voltage source is, so the dotted line will be indicating the ideal current source. It will be sending the constant value of the load. So due to the or doesn't change the load voltage variations. But coming to the practical, it will be indicating the dark line means red line. It will be sending the specified level of the current value to the load with respect to the load voltage variation. That's why so is a difference is there between those ideal current source and as well as practical current source. So finally it is an important point for these two definition, that is a practical current source has a highest value of internal resistance is there, but coming to the ideal current source it doesn't have any internal resistance. That is the reason why we are getting the IV characteristics are the differentiates. So then coming to the circuit elements, we are going to discuss about the many circuit elements are there. So here capacitor, inductor, and then resistance with variable, capacitor with variable, and inductor with variable, and as well as Schottky means it is a diode, one of the diode. So diode also types is there, Schottky diode, tunnel diode, and as well as Zener diode. So these are the, and LED also indicator is there, and semi silicon control rectifier is there, diac is there, thermistor is there, myrmistor is there. These are all are the circuit elements. By using the circuit elements we are going to make a simple and as well as the big circuits or design a network only. Then coming to the a small discussion about the basic electrical elements. So the basic electrical elements are, we have resistor, inductor, and as well as capacitor. So these are the basic electrical elements. So here the resistance means, so the resistance is a physical property of the material which is offered the opposition of flow of electrons, or the opposition of flow of current is nothing but a resistance. Again, resistance is a physical property of the material which offered the opposition of flow of electrons or flow of current. So if it will be considering a small length of material is there, so that material having L length and area of the cross section will be A. Here we are going to calculating that resistance value will be considering, so that resistor formula capital R is directly proportional to length of the material and inversely proportional to cross sectional area. So the resistance of the material will be varying, so which is directly proportional to length of the that material and which is inversely proportional to area of that material. So finally the resistance of that particular material R is equals to which will be open the or which will remove the proportional constant, will get the rho. Here rho is a specific resistance. So the physical formula of the resistance will be R is equals to rho into L by A, which is mentioned in the diagram. So that is a physical value or physical formula of resistance. So the resistor we are going to mention the length per length per centimeters, or we are going to say it is mentioned in terms of a Greek letter omega. Means it will be mentioned as a Ohm's shortcut name as a Ohm's. The symbolic representation means it is a they to the right side, because the current it doesn't stop the current, but it will be oppose the current. That's why the electron flow in the particular material will be zigzag way, so that the symbolic representation will come like that manner. Then coming to the specific resistance. The specific resistance means it is a property of the material again, so which is considered as a unit length. The resistance offered by the unit length and as well as a unit area of cross section whenever a voltage is applied to that material, which is called as a specific resistance. Means take a unit length of the material and it has a unit cross section area. So in that you are going to calculating the resistance value of that unit length material is called as specific resistance. The specific resistance as a letter of rho. So the specific resistance mentioned in terms of again ohms only. Then coming to the conductance. So the conductance is nothing but it is a opposition of the resistance offered by the material is called as conductance. Means it is a reciprocal of the resistance, also we can say it is called as a resistance. Sorry, it is called as a conductance. Then coming to the inductor. First of all, inductor, we are going to considering inductor is a how to form an inductor. First I am going to take in a finite length of wire, so that will be twisted into a coil. So that coil is called as an inductor. The property of the inductor which stores the energy in the form of magnetic field. So the inductance means whenever a varying current applied through it, and we are getting the varying flux means the rate of change of flux, it will be linked with the own conductor. So that due to that one, because of the electromagnetic induction of Faraday, and we'll get the induced EMF. Again, whenever a varying current applied through that coil, the rate of change of flux will be produces that varying current. It will be linked with that own coil. So that own coil will set up the own EMF. This own EMF property, according to the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, that own property is called as a self-inductance property. So that induced EMF is known as a self-induced EMF. That according to Faraday is directly proportional to rate of change of flux with respect to time. That is, E is directly proportional to d pi by dt. So this induced EMF is known as self-induced EMF. So in every generator and as well as every machine will be depending on these phenomena only. That's why a bunch of coils, a bunch of inductors are used in the machine winding construction. Then coming to the capacitor and as well as capacitance. Here the capacitor means it is a energy storage element, means it is ability to store the energy within it. It is a device which is having a capacitor. Means first of all we are going to discussing about the what do you mean by capacitor. Capacitor is nothing but it has a two conducting plates. The two conducting plates are separated by the dielectric material or insulating material. So that property or that arrangement is called as a capacitor. Capacitor is a device. It has a two conducting parallel plates, so which are separated by the insulating material. That property is called as a capacitor. So capacitor is the energy storage element which stores the energy in the form of electric field. Here the capacitor units are the Faraday. It will be indicating two parallel plates with a letter of capital C. So the aim of the capacitor they are going to use in electrical energy storage purpose. The main property of the capacitor, it does not allow the sudden changes in voltage. So this is the main property of the capacitor. Then coming to the basic fundamental law and very important law in everywhere. So that's why we are going to study about the Ohm's law. So the Ohm's law invented by the George Simon Ohm. So the figure is mentioned in the diagram. He is an George Simon Ohm. He is invented by the Ohm's law. Ohm's law states that in a conductor or circuit, excuse me, in a conductor or circuit, the current flowing through the circuit or conductor is directly proportional to the applied voltage. Come again, at constant temperature. Come again. Ohm's law states that current flowing through the circuit or conductor is directly proportional to the applied voltage at constant temperature. So this is called as Ohm's law statement. Ohm's law states that a constant temperature, the current flows through a circuit is directly proportional to applied voltage. So here according to the statement, here is V is I equal to, actually according to the statement only, I is directly proportional to V, and I'm going to removing the I is equals to G into V, I can say. Why? Because I can remove the proportionality constant. I is equals to G into V. G means it is a conductance. The conductance we can write I is equals to 1 by R into V. Here 1 by R into V, we can say V is equals to I into R. That R will be sent to the, that left side will get the V equal to I into R. So this is the SI unit of the resistance is ohms, denoted by omega symbol. Here the limitations of Ohm's law. Here Ohm's law is applicable for only linear elements. So it is not applicable for the non-linear elements such as diode and as well as transistor, silicon controlled rectifier, semiconductor devices, etc. And which is not applicable for, point number 1 is not applicable for the non-linear elements or the only lateral elements also. Lateral elements also can be not applicable for the Ohm's law. Means diodes and silicon control rectifier. So these are the elements which doesn't afford by the, or which doesn't obeys the Ohm's law, and it's not applicable for the metals, and as well as it's not applicable for the electrolyte or anomalous gases produced by the electrodes. So that's why electrolytes also not applicable, and it's not applicable for the vacuum tubes, and it is not applicable for the gas filled tubes, and it is not applicable for the arc lamps. So that's why the Ohm's law is only applicable for the linear elements. Ohm's law doesn't obey the semiconductor, gas filled tubes, and as well as electrolyte elements, and as well as heated elements, means metals, and as well as vacuum tubes, etc. These are the limitations of Ohm's law. Only Ohm's law is applicable to the linear elements. Then coming to the simple problem on Ohm's law. So we have a circuit clearly mentioned has a 12 volt source is there and having 24 ohms resistance is there. So in the question they are asking how much current flows through that resistance value. Again to Ohm's law, again I directly proportional to V. Here I is equals to proportionality constant will be removing, I equal to G into V. G equal to, we can say 1 by R into V. I equal to 1 by R into V. V equal to, we need to calculate I equal to V by R. We have obtained from that equation I equal to G into V. That equation we have obtained I is equals to G by R. Sorry, 1 by R. So 1 by R means 1 by R into V is there. We also mentioned 12 by 1 by R means 1 by 24. 12 by 24 we have obtained. We'll get the 1.1 by 2 and we'll get the 0.5 amperes. So the current flows through the given circuit across the 24 ohm resistor. So 0.5 ampere, which is delivered by the 12 volts voltage source. So this is the discussion about the basic and the remaining fundamentals or remaining concepts in the basic electrical engineering. Thank you one and all. Please watch this video.